Hi everyone, Raven here, founder of financial literacy social enterprise MoneyMind and our website www.moneymind.global. On today's live broadcast about before I turned 30, I thought I'd know. It was a long broadcast. You might want to actually just watch the broadcast just to see the things that I really thought that I'd have figured out by 30. But to summarize, they were really mostly relationships, boundaries with people, money, and myself and my happiness. And I had none of these sorted out. I had them sorted out in bits and pieces. It wasn't really working for me. And I had to stop and regroup and say, okay, where I'm going is not where I'm happy ending up. And this path I'm on is leading somewhere that in 5 years, I'm not going to be super cool with. Because when we're in our 20s, we can tend to think we'll have things figured out by our 30s, but then we're so busy with life, right? Like there's so much to do and figure out. We got to do our jobs in university and then, finding happiness and then overworking and then burnout and then finding what really we want to do and what works for us. And there's so much going on that we have to figure out. And it's really intense. And other things can kind of fall to the wayside. We think that we'll just learn them from osmosis and life happening to us, but really we just kind of pick up a bunch of stuff that doesn't lead us in any one direction unless we're choosing to. So where we can benefit is we can ask ourselves, okay, what direction do I want to be going in? What cleanup do I want to do? And how can I benefit myself and lead myself in the direction that I want to end up? Right? Do I want to end up happy? What are things that will contribute to that? Deep down, we'll know things that make us unhappy, and then we can start taking steps towards things we think we might like, and therefore then we'll start taking that path and that journey towards things that could make us happy. And each step of the way, even if we try something that we think we'd like and we don't like it, we have more information, more data for which to move forward with. So that will be really useful for us, like kind of like guiding us on our path. So we can look at things that we want to make us more happy. We can look at things that will give us a better financial foundation in our life, right? And that's what we're talking about. And we can also think about relationships and boundaries and where we can have better boundaries in our life so that they serve us and the people that we're with. So if we are like a taker type personality, as mentioned in Adam Grant's Give and Take, really good book to read. I recommend it if you're in your late 20s. Very good book to read, as well as the book How Women Rise by Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith. So there's two books, Give and Take by Adam Grant and How Women Rise by Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith. Give and Take, How Women Rise. So if we are in the Give and Take book, more of a taker, we'll always receive and we'll be a bit confused when our relationships don't work out. Like, oh gosh, I had no idea. I thought everything was fine and that person suddenly left. That can be typical of a taker relationship. If we are more of a matcher, it's very transactional. So you help me, I help you, we balance everything out, we're more equal. If you're more of a giver, you can tend to overgive and maybe not have really strong boundaries about yourself and how much you give. Givers and takers often link together, and when givers start implementing boundaries, takers don't like it. So that's a whole journey you can figure out through that book, Give and Take, seeing your own reciprocity style and whether you're happy with that and the results that it's getting in your life. So we're always looking at the results here. Are we happy with this? Or are we happy with the results? So either way, takers, givers, matchers, we can benefit from having great boundaries in our life. If we're a taker, we can have good boundaries where we also reciprocate more. If we're a giver, we can have good boundaries where we match people so that we are not giving too much. This can also apply, as mentioned in that book, How Women Rise, to our jobs and our work. Are we just taking on all the work for other people and everyone else is getting promoted above us? It's really because it is one of those 12 habits that hold women back in the workplace, which is in that book, How Women Rise. And that is not advocating for yourself and saying, I want to be promoted. Also, not saying no to when people are just loading work onto you because they don't want to do it. And, maybe you just say yes to taking on the work, and so you think that will get you noticed for working really hard, but actually it works the opposite and it kind of hides you under a stack of work. You're the one who always gets stuff done, but not the one who leads. And to get promoted, we tend to need to become more people who are leaders rather than just the worker ants. We need to be able to do both, but we want to have more leadership traits. So that's all in the books Give and Take by Adam Grant and How Women Rise by Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith, or Goldstein, I always forget. But today, one of the things that was really big for me before I turned 30, I thought I'd have my finances sorted out. And really it was very peacey. And so once I started to do this journey of like, I hit 28 and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to end up at 35 with the same situation playing out around me, with these same like people that weren't aligned with my authentic self. And did I even really know my authentic self? And like, what do I like? I had to really say, okay, I'm going to make some changes and get to know myself and figure out who I am authentically and what I like, what I don't like. And, you know, obviously there are things that we know about ourselves, but sometimes we're like, oh, hey, everyone likes hiking. Maybe I'll like hiking, even though I've always hated hiking. I still hate hiking, by the way. We have confirmed this fact, just so that you know, just to reconfirm with everybody, do not invite me hiking. So if we are in a situation where we say, okay, my finances, I thought I'd have them figured out by now, but I'm kind of doing bits and pieces. I have like a lot of investing, but no savings, or I spend all my money, or I have a lot of savings, but no investing. You might benefit from doing this little checklist with me right now, just on your hands, and saying, okay, my money mindsets, my money mind, 5 pillars of financial stability. They are money mindsets, savings, budgeting, investing, wills, and legacy. How am I in each of these areas? How am I? How am I in money mindsets? How am I in savings? How am I in budgeting? How am I investing? How am I in wills and legacy? You just write them down. They're five pillars, right? You can go on the website. It says them everywhere. And this is an easy little checklist framework that I created for myself to use like with my own financial insecurities, because when I got to 30 and then we had the opportunity to do this startup adventure with my husband, where he is like launching this startup and I am, you know, a support team, like a Formula One team, right? There's like the driver in the car and then the support team changes all the wheels and makes sure the driver can run. So that was us. And, you know, like metaphorically, obviously, the startup wasn't a Formula One team. But then I realized I had all of these like financial gaps in my knowledge. And I had just been sort of doing stuff through my 20s, but not with, like, it was kind of messy. It was just a mess. And I needed to, or wanted to, clean it up. And so I said, okay, what are the most important foundational basics that I can apply to my life while I can see these gaps of insecurity? I was like, okay, are my money mindsets, savings, budgeting, investing, wills, and legacy, if these 5 pillars are covered in my foundational basics, I can build from there. I need to make sure that these are in good condition, or at least there, right? And so I started to look at where I needed to work on and started to make changes in terms of improving certain areas, implementing certain areas, tweaking certain areas. But using this as a framework, I can still apply it today and say, how am I in these areas? I can apply it next year and say, how am I doing? Do I need to increase my savings? Do I need to make more like boring investments? Like, do I need to balance out my portfolio or diversify into some other areas? Like, I can look at these 5 pillars and we can use them anytime in our financial lives. And that's what I found was really interesting for me, because I had such good results from applying these in terms of feeling more financially secure, that I thought, holy cow, this could be used by anyone. And that's when we also had the conversation for me to start a social enterprise called MoneyMind, and that's what this is. So moneymind.global is the website, www.moneymind.global, and you can go to the website and try our free samplers to see where you're at in each of these 5 pillars. You could also buy the paid courses, which are an hour each. So the free samplers are 10 minutes, just a few questions. You can do that while you're having coffee and just see where you're at in your financial stability basics. The paid courses are really like running you through a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't know about these areas or needed to implement into my life that are useful to know in terms of money mindsets, savings, budgeting, investing, wills, and legacy. So we dive into a whole bunch of stuff in those areas that I can't go into right now, but you can watch, I kind of jumble through them in the live broadcast, and you can actually go into each of the pillars and see the list of the topics that's in them. So if you go to www.moneymind.global, you go to all courses, and then you look at the single courses, there's a little list of all of these 5 pillars, and you can click on them, and they'll actually, once you scroll down, be a little list of what's exactly in that course, so you can see it, right? They're such a good price. They're the best price of any sort of financial course that I've seen on the market. So definitely worth doing while the price stays at this price. And these 5 pillars definitely made a big difference to me in my financial stability, security, and confidence. And I wanted to share them with other people just so it could help them too. So those are areas that I wish that I had known before I turned 30. And what I will be doing here for any time that you need it, any time that you're ready for it, is providing those financial literacy basics and that sort of confidence empowerment boost for whenever you're ready to take those steps, if you need them at all, in your own financial life. And if you can think of other people who might benefit from this video, from following us, from anything that we do, please share, because the more of us who have financial literacy basics and foundations and confidence put into our life and applied and implemented in our daily lives, the more of us will have space to live the lives we want, do the things we want, and thrive in our lives, because we don't have to worry about our financial foundational basics. We can have room to thrive because this area is sorted. And that's what I realized that I wanted to share with the world, and that's what MoneyMind.global is designed to do. So thanks for watching. Like, share, follow. I'll see you next time.